Yeah, the potatoes and all that good stuff. Yeah, it won't last long. But I don't watch like this stuff. Hi, Matthew.
Brothers and sisters, if you lift your net and it is empty, come here. If you open your eyes but do not recognize the Holy One, come here. Here is the morning, come here. Come here, brothers and sisters. Our first hymn is on page 304. Please join me in our opening prayer. God of victory of death, your Son revealed himself again and again, and convinced his followers of his glorious resurrection. Grant that we may know his risen presence, in love obediently feed his sheep, and care for the lambs of his flock, until we join the hosts of heaven in worshiping you and praising him, who is worthy of blessing and honor, glory and power, forever and ever. Amen. You may be seated. Hear me when I call. You are my morning song. The darkness fills the night. It cannot hide the light. Who shall I fear? You cross the heavenly, underneath my feet. You are my sword and shield. No troubles linger still. Who shall I fear? I know who goes before me. I know who stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever, he is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. My strength is in your name, for you alone can save. You will deliver me. Yours is the victory. Who shall I fear? Who shall I fear? I know who goes before me. I know who stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever, he is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. And nothing formed against me shall stand. You hold the whole world in your hands. I'm holding on to your promises. You are faithful. You are faithful. Nothing formed against me shall stand. You hold the whole world in your hands. I'm holding on to your promises. You are faithful. You are faithful. You are faithful. I know who goes before me. I know who stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever, he is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. I know who goes before me. I know always by my side. The one who reigns forever, he is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The God of angel armies is always by my side. Amen. Thank you, Lord. Continue now in our worship and the giving of our tithes and offerings. But indeed we come to worship and to praise you, and to give generously from our hearts to the work of this church. We thank you, God, for the blessings that you have given to us and our families, and all the blessings that you bestowed upon this church. But it is our desire to continue to go forth in Jesus' name and to bring glory to your name. We pray, Lord, that through these offerings we might be able to do that. We ask you to bless me upon each gift and each giver in Jesus' name. Amen. Our hymn is on page 340. seek out your sea. The fish of your ocean never long.
Shelter. But I mean, the experiences that we've had, and just, we just don't know. Really, and you just know we're just probably blessed.
Right, also,
I do. I never wanted to see the game with daughter and see him in the subway. So you went home listening. And then the greatest fear to say that. It was such a blessing to know he was in this car. And soon, Courtney just jumped right in there and sat right there. And man, that's a country soul nothing does.
And thank you for those who did the video that we can see that.
What other joys this morning?
For my son-in-law, Larry, for a second, he was on the prayer team. He had knee replacement. He came through it great. He's already started to rehabilitation.
Okay, you need to keep Mary Prince in your prayers. Other joys?
They don't recognize the outstanding students in their placements.
Congratulations to them.
Beauty Iron Parade for 2 youths in our congregation. Gabby and Savannah have made the traveling ball team to travel all over Pennsylvania, throughout Ohio to play pass pitch softball.
Jesus word. We congratulate both of them as well. I know we had a birthday yesterday. Sharon had a birthday yesterday. Other birthdays?
Oh, we have one movie on Saturday.
You had a birthday this week. Mary's birthday is tomorrow. Anybody else? It's just a busy week in birthdays. Let's sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Any other joys this morning?
I have joy. I would like to say thank you to all who attended last night's surprise party without me. I didn't know anything, but thank you from the bottom of my heart.
That was a miracle itself. How about prayer concerns today?
Shane White.
Pray for Shane's emergency this week. Diane Adams, yes, Diane will be having surgery in the near future, so keep her in prayer.
Robert Nightmare, he has a tumor on his pancreas.
What was the last name?
Nightmare.
John Peter.
Peter, he also injured his elbow.
Mark Kay on Wednesday.
Yes. March 5th, having surgery on Wednesday.
Prayer along with going out to Chinese to deal today.
Yes.
Do well with all of them.
So show her lots of food, so. Lots of fun.
Please continue praying for my sister Kathy's hand. She did get a good report this week, but there's still more healing to be done.
Keep Kathy in your prayers.
We open this week, first week of this week for bladder cancer.
Continue to keep my mom in your prayers.
I want to offer.
Unspoken.
Other unspoken concerns? Anything else to share this morning? And two requests, I prayed that you would pray for a young man by the name of Kendall that we met this week. He's homeless, and the day that we talked to him, he had just found out that he had kidney cancer. So I can't imagine having cancer being out on the street. So if you would keep him in your prayers. And also my aunt, Linda Loudon, has had a recurrence of her cancer. We keep her in prayer as well.
Refugee ship that turned up this morning, 700 people.
That's all those on that ship in the Mediterranean. Terrible tragedy. Anyone else?
All the problems that are going on in the Middle East.
Continue to pray for the Middle East situation.
Persecuted and Christians were being beheaded and
Persecuted Christians. Any others?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saved, yes. Anyone else? That's great. God, how good it is to be in your sanctuary on this sunny Saturday morning. God, we come here to worship and to praise you. We come to take some time out from the hectic lives that we live, have our spirits fed, to be restored as we go back out into the world in another week. God, we thank you for the blessings of this past week. We thank you for the opportunity to travel to New York and for your presence with us, for your guidance, for your going before us and working things out and providing for all the needs that we had, no matter how unexpected they might have been. We think of all those who are spending this day out in the street with no home to go to, and possibly not sure where their next meal will come from. And not only do we pray that you would provide for their needs, but we pray that you would help us to be more thankful for the wonderful and abundant blessings that you pour out upon us each and every day. God, we are grateful for our youth and our congregation, and we rejoice with them in their accomplishments this week. We thank you for the signs of new life and spring that are all around us, and we pray that they would serve as reminders to us of the new life that we have through Christ during this Easter season. We have named many persons, people who are near and dear to us, who are suffering at this time in their lives, suffering from sickness or injury. There are those who are suffering the loss of a loved one. As we name each one again, we pray that you would enter into their lives, that you would give them the strength and encouragement that they need to meet each day, and that as the great physician, you would surround them with your healing power. We pray for Larry Fritz, for Shane White, we pray for Diane, for Robert Knighter, for Don Peter, for Margie Kay and her surgery on Wednesday. Pray for Kathy and Bill, and Evelyn, and Kendall, and Linda. We pray for our shut-ins, Lord, and pray that it might brighten their day in some way for us to come into their homes and sit down and to share a meal with them. Remind them, Lord, that it is in the breaking of the bread that we see your presence. We pray for that to happen this day. We pray for those who have been lost in this terrible tragedy in the Mediterranean. We pray for the survivors. We pray for the families of those lost. We continue to pray for the situation in our world, for continued violence on people in the Middle East. We pray for peace. We pray for those Christian brothers and sisters, Lord, who face persecution. We pray for their safety. God, we pray for the unsaved. We far too often just don't pay any attention. We just assume, Lord, that that's how they want their lives to be. We assume that they're happy and content. But it's sometimes a mystery to us how we can be so thankful for our faith. We don't know how in the world we could possibly live without our faith, and yet we are so hesitant to share it. God, help us to be sharers of our faith. Help us to reach those who are unsaved. Help us indeed to send the light of your gospel into this world. We come together now as Jesus' church, praying as he taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. As we continue in this Easter season, we read of ways that Jesus appeared to his disciples after his resurrection. And we turn to the Gospel of John, chapter 21, verses 1 through 14. Later, Jesus appeared again to the disciples beside the Sea of Galilee. This is how it happened. Several of the disciples were there: Simon Peter, Thomas, nicknamed the twin, Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and two other disciples. Simon Peter said, "I'm going fishing." "We'll come too," they all said. So they went out in the boat, but they caught nothing all night. At dawn, Jesus was standing on the beach, but the disciples couldn't see who he was. He called out, "Fellows, have you caught any fish?" No, they replied. Then he said to them, throw out your net on the right-hand side of the boat and you'll get some. So they did, and they couldn't haul in the net because there were so many fish in it. Then the disciple Jesus loved said to Peter, it's the Lord. And when Simon Peter heard that, he put on his tunic, for he had stripped for work, jumped into the water, and headed to shore. The others stayed with the boat and pulled the loaded net to the shore, for they were only about 100 yards from shore. When they got there, they found breakfast waiting for them, fish cooking over a charcoal fire, and some bread. Bring some of the fish you just caught, Jesus said. So Simon Peter went aboard and dragged the net to shore. There were 153 large fish, and yet the net hadn't torn. Now come and have some breakfast, Jesus said. None of the disciples dared to ask him, who are you? They knew it was the Lord. Then Jesus served them the bread and the fish. This was the third time Jesus had appeared to his disciples since he had been raised from the dead. This is the word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. You would pray with me. God, we come now to hear your word. Words that came from Jesus that the disciples heard so long ago. God, help us to hear those words as well. Help us to hear Jesus' call upon our lives. Help us to make your word change the way we live our lives. We pray for your Holy Spirit to be at work. We pray the meditation of our hearts and the words of my mouth will be acceptable to you. Amen. I begin this morning with a story, perhaps appropriate considering our scriptures about fishing. And yesterday was the first day of trout season, so it all seems to come into play. The story is about a fisherman and his family who lived many years ago. And they were blessed with 2 twin sons. They loved their children very much, but they couldn't think of what to name the boys. So finally, after several days of going back and forth and trying to make a decision, the fisherman said to his wife, let's not decide on names right now. Maybe if we wait a little while, the names will simply occur to us. So after several weeks had passed, the fisherman and his wife noticed a peculiar fact about boys. When left alone, one of the boys would always turn toward the sea, and the other boy would face inland. It didn't matter which way the parents positioned the children, the same child would always face the same direction. So the fisherman had an idea. He said, let's call the boys towards and away. His wife agreed. From that point on, the boys were simply known as towards and away. The years passed. The boys grew tall and strong. The day came when the aging fisherman said to his sons, it's time for you to learn how to make a living. We're going to take out the boat to learn how to make a living from the sea. So they got their ship all ready. They said their goodbyes to their mother and they set sail for a 3-month voyage. But 3 whole years passed before the day the grieving woman saw a lone man walking toward her house. She recognized him as her husband. My goodness, she said, what has happened to my darling boys? At which time the fisherman began to tell the story. We were just barely one day out to sea when Towards hooked into a great fish. Towards fought long and hard, but the fish was more than his equal. For a whole week they wrestled upon the waves without either of them letting up. Yet eventually the great fish started to win the battle, and Towards was pulled over the side of our ship. He was swallowed whole, and we saw neither of them ever again. Oh dear, the wife said, that must have been terrible. What a huge fish that must have been. Yes, it was, said the fisherman. But you should have seen the one who got away. Yes, that's one of those stories where you grow. One of those fish stories. It seems that people are always suspicious of fishermen's stories. Simon Peter and the other 6 disciples who were with them that day certainly had a story to tell. How do you think people reacted? People probably shook their head. They may be even grown. Here were these men. First of all, they were claiming that they had caught 153 fish. That was absolutely unheard of. And if that wasn't enough, they also claimed that they saw Jesus, and that Jesus cooked them breakfast on the beach. I'm willing to guess that more than one person said, "You can't believe anything they say." But I also think that this was not the day that those fishermen expected either. They had spent the night fishing. It was a good time to fish because they would have fresh fish in the morning for themselves and also to sell. They worked hard, they caught nothing. So they're heading back to shore, they're tired, they're hungry, they're discouraged. All these things have happened in the last days. They're trying to go back to what's familiar. People had said they had seen Jesus, they had seen him, but nothing happened. And now they had no fish. Not until someone from the shore yells out to them and asks them if they caught any fish. Worst question a fisherman wants to hear. But he tells them to throw the nets over on the other side of the boat. They probably thought this was kind of worthless, but they did it anyways. And sure enough, they caught all those fish. They recognized before too long, John does, that it's Jesus. And Peter, very typical of Peter, immediately jumps up. He gets dressed, jumps out of the boat, and swims to the shore. And Jesus has breakfast ready for them. How long had he been waiting for them? Long enough to build a fire with some coals on the fire, some bread baked. And Jesus fed their bodies, and he nourished their souls. This is the very end of John's gospel. Why would you suppose that John would include this story? The story of Jesus doing something as mundane as eating breakfast along the shores of Galilee with his disciples. I think there are many reasons for the inclusion of this story. I will share two with you this morning. First of all, I think Jesus came to the lake shore to remind the disciples that he indeed was who he said he was. After all the trauma of the last few weeks, the disciples returned to what was familiar. There was so much they didn't know, so much they didn't understand, they wanted to go back to what they did know. What was comforting for them, sort of like going home. They needed time to clear their heads, to figure out what was happening, to try to get things back to normal. They had to be reliving the past in their minds, thinking about all the things that Jesus had said and done in those last 3 years with him. What did he mean? What did he really mean? What had they missed? I'm sure that it appeared to them they had missed a lot. He said so many things and so much went right over their heads. Someone once said, the most tiring exercise in the world is carrying yesterday on your back. And yet I feel that that's probably what those disciples were doing. Not only were they thinking about the past, not only may they have had regrets about the past, but what about the future? What was going to happen now? They really had no idea. And I believe that Jesus knew that they needed to see him. They needed to spend time in his presence. They needed the reassurance that he was, in fact, who he said he was, and that all that he said was going to happen was going to come to be. And so into a moment of doubt and discouragement, Jesus came, and he fixed them breakfast along the shores of the lake. Jesus came to remind them that the resurrection was not some figment of their imagination. Jesus came to remind them that everything he said and everything he did, that he was the Messiah. And secondly, I believe that Jesus had breakfast in Galilee to remind the disciples that their mission was to salvage souls. When I say that word salvage, what comes to your mind? Maybe a junkyard, where parts of cars and trucks are salvaged because they're still usable for something else. We think of archaeology, where we salvage bits and pieces of the past. To salvage is to save, to recover, to rescue, to reclaim. But much more important than salvaging car parts or some kind of ancient relics is the business of salvaging human souls. Each soul is more precious in the sight of God than anything else we could ever find in this world. The salvaging of human souls was Jesus' mission in this world. And he said over and over again, the Son of Man has come to seek and to save the lost. As he traveled up and down the dusty roads of Palestine, the salvaging of souls was the driving force behind every sermon he preached. It was behind every miracle he performed, behind every personal encounter he had, and even the ultimate explanation behind his willingness to face the cross of Calvary. Because Jesus gave himself so completely to the work of salvaging souls, is it any wonder that here, just before his ascension, he would come to be with his disciples? Is it any wonder that he wouldn't come and share a meal with them? Is it any wonder that he would come to remind them that their mission was to continue that work of salvaging souls by proclaiming the good news? Is it any wonder that he would come to remind them that their mission was to turn the world upside down by proclaiming God's love forever? And that's our challenge as well, if we are to be his disciples in this world today. We are to proclaim the good news of God's love in Jesus Christ. We're to take seriously the work of salvaging souls. We are called to turn our world upside down by proclaiming God's love through the living out of our faith each and every day. I have another story to share with you. It comes from the book What About Tomorrow. It's a story about a Baptist minister, Dr. Gordon Torgerson. He sailed across the Atlantic one summer, and he noticed a dark-skinned man sitting on the deck. And as the man sat there every day, he was reading his Bible. So one day he sat down beside him. He said to him, "Forgive me my curiosity, but I'm a Baptist minister, and I assume you are a Christian, and I'm interested to know how it is that you became a Christian." "Yes," said the dark-skinned man, "I'm very glad to tell you about that. I'm a Filipino. I was born to a good Catholic home in the Philippines. Some years ago, I came to the United States to study law. My very first night on campus, a student came to see me. He said, 'I've come to welcome you to the campus, and to say that if there's anything I can do for you to make your stay here easier, please let me know.' Then he asked me where I went to church, and I told him I was a Catholic. And he said, 'Well, I'll tell you where the Catholic church is, but it's really not that easy to find. It's quite a distance away, so let me make a map for you.' So I made an outline of the way to get to the Catholic church, and he left. When I awakened Sunday morning, it was raining, and I thought to myself, I'm just not going to go to church today. I'd rather get some more sleep. And then there was a knock on the door. And when I opened it, there stood their student. His raincoat was dripping wet, and on one arm he had 2 umbrellas, and he said, 'I thought you might have a hard time finding your church in this rain. I'll walk with you and show you the way.' And as we walked along in the rain under the 2 umbrellas, I asked him, 'Where do you go to church?' Oh, he said, 'My church is just around the corner.' And I said, 'Well, let's go to your church today, and we'll go to my church next Sunday.' I went to his church that day, and I've never been back to my own. After 4 years, I felt it was not the law for me, but seminary. I went to Drew Seminary and was ordained a Methodist minister, and I received an appointment to the Methodist Church in the Philippines. My name is Valencius. I am Bishop Valencius, Bishop of the Methodist Church in the Philippines." That's a fascinating story, because it's about one of the most important people in the world. And I'm not talking about Bishop Valencius. He's an important man. But one of the most important people in the world that's included in that story is the man that had 2 umbrellas. Because in fact, the back of every convert to the Christian faith, behind each and every one of you who's sitting here today, in the back of every church that's been built, including this one, in the back of every Christian enterprise and movement in history, you're going to find someone like that unnamed man with 2 umbrellas. You can find name who that person is in your life. An ordinary man or woman, a person who believed that salvaging soul was important, a person who dared to make his faith so useful, a person who dared to make her faith so attractive that others said, I want to be like that person. I want to have that kind of faith. We can't turn the world upside down. We dare to live out our faith because we believe in each person is precious to God. The unfortunate thing is that too often we just kind of go through life with blindness. We forget about all those unsaved people. We think that they're happy the way they are. We think that's the way they want to be. We think they can never change. And if they do want to change, they know the way to the church. If there's ever a place where you realize how judgmental you can be, it's in New York. There's a little bit of judgmentalism that goes with all this. But when you go out in the streets and you see these people, and you're reminded to see the face of Jesus in them, you realize that no matter what they've done, no matter what they look like, no matter where they've been, they are just as precious in God's eyes as you and I. Will you dare to be that? Will you dare to do that? Will you dare to be the person in this life that has two umbrellas? Will you dare to make your faith so attractive that others will be willing to walk with you for the cross? Let's pray. But sometimes we try to fool ourselves in thinking that we don't know anybody who doesn't know you. But that's not really our gift or our call. Yet we're reminded in this scripture passage and so many other places that indeed that is our call. That is Jesus' call upon our life. Share our faith. God, help us to do that. Help us to take down those walls of fear and judgmentalism and whatever else might be that keeps us from sharing that faith that you have given to us that is so important to us. And no matter where we may be, in New Bethlehem or New York or who knows where else, we'll be in the business of salvaging souls. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Our last hymn is in your bulletin insert, Send the Light. Let's stand together. go in joy and peace in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.